Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so got everything I needed from Target. Decided to make Laker videos and NBA videos rather today. Rather than do too much therapy session work, I just didn't feel compelled to really talk about anything specific other than basketball, to be honest with you. With today being knockout round day 2 in the NBA, I just want to talk about that, but figured I'd check in and let you guys know what's up. I feel good. Today was a day I strictly wanted to go out. I went all the way to Hollywood, as you guys probably saw. Did I do a video in Hollywood or not? I don't remember if I did or not. I walked around there for a little bit and then decided to come back to Target. But when I realized I was getting on the train from Hollywood and Vine, I was going to double back to go to the Target that I went to last time on Sunset. Was I going to go to the one on Hollywood that was up the block, or was I going to just come back this way? And I realized the game started too. Not the Laker game, but the other game. So it was like, probably want to see at least the second half of that. So figured I'd go to this one over here on this side of town. Caught the bus all the way to Kittredge, as I sometimes don't when I want to walk and do a video, but not today. Just want to conserve some time. And so that was really it. Just feeling pretty good. Just wanted to kind of get everything I needed since the EBT replenished today, and so I was very pleased with that. But I felt good this morning. I felt blessed. I woke up this morning earlier than usual. That was another thing. I was out of bed by 6:30, I think, something like that, a little earlier than usual. Did all my normal stuff. Feel a lot better as far as the soreness is concerned. Not sore today, and just feeling good, feeling blessed. Asking for the Lord to continue to give me the strength to overcome the stress and all that would otherwise come with that. God is good. God is very good. I got all the appreciation necessary to get me through whatever's next. That's what I'm telling myself. That's what I truly believe. It's hard to see clearly when there's only you to kind of check yourself. Obviously, there's things that need to be done. And in regards to my housing, I think what I'm waiting for right now is my, not only my therapy session, but what's going to be happening after that, or rather before that, with the caseworker, social worker / caseworker. What she's going to be able to do is help me apply for different things, have more of a backing in regards to having her name attached to Section 8 or whatever the program would be, as well as anything that I would otherwise need in looking for listings and stuff like that. So I think that's what the holdup is in regards to finding my own spot. But for the time being, that's coming up next Wednesday. So we're a little under a week away from that. And so I'm just trying to keep myself out. Yesterday, of course, I stayed in the house a little more than I would have liked to, rested. Got my playlist done. The playlist was great, by the way. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It really was a musical journey. When I was listening back to it, I was like, this is great. The K-List 370. Definitely one I'm proud of. Encourage you to go check that out. BDF 44 at Apple Music. And sometimes you just realize that things are stagnant, but they just feel that way. It's not actually stagnation. My progression on my goals, my body is going in the right direction. My progression for my goals in regards to getting closer to God, praying is going well. Continuing my streak with my art. In terms of sharing it, that's going well. Playlist, obviously. This channel, obviously. All of everything that I'm trying to do, I'm still steady with it. And sometimes the grind can feel like stagnation when you get so used to what it is that every bit of your work is, to where it doesn't feel like work and you don't see the progression in it. So you don't really feel like you're moving. But the reality is, I was listening to someone today talk about what his business model was. I think it was Wallow might have put this on one of the slides of his motivational for this morning. And it was a guy talking about, I don't remember if it was one of Wallow's or not, but it was a guy talking about how he patterned his business model after a certain individual who put in a lot of entries. You want to be an artist, you got to do 3,000 art pieces. If you want to be a YouTuber, you got to do 1,000 videos. And it's like, that's how I work naturally. That's exactly how I work naturally. If you look on my YouTube, you're going to see over 1,000 videos. Most definitely over 1,000 videos. And it's just one of those situations where it's like, for me, I'm just getting better at the craft. I'm getting more comfortable with what I do. On the basketball tip, I try to make sure that I, get better at analyzing the game. I was praying a couple days ago, asking the Lord to help me elevate in my understanding of the game. Naturally, just put it in my face to kind of learn more in certain things that are coming about on my phone. And so that's what I want to do, man. Just get better at what I'm doing. Not necessarily look for the instant gratification results, but more so find peace in this grind as it moves in its own time and its own pace, and just continue to back up these works as I do them. And so, it sucks when you're alone, but when you have a bunch of things that you're working on that can be great for your legacy, or maybe even your wallet too, it can make up for that. So that's why I would encourage everybody who's like me, who doesn't have a whole lot of people in their life, doesn't have a wife and no kids or nothing like that. Work on something and work on it as much as you can, because that's what we have that others may not. With responsibility to others, they would love to be in our position. Maybe we would love to be in their position with more kids or whatever, people to come home to. But where there's something lacking, there's something available, and that for us is the gift of having only ourselves to be responsible for and our dreams to chase. So that's what I'm going to encourage everybody. Don't feel so bad about being alone if you are alone and don't want to be, because once you're not alone, you're going to want the space and you may not have that to do what it is that you ultimately can do while you're working on keeping your community whole, or whatever your family situation would be. So that's what it is, man. Just trying to enjoy what I do have and let go of what it is that otherwise needs to be let go of, or what has let go of me in certain cases. You know what I mean? Try not to welcome anything but strength in order to deal with what otherwise is meant to distract. And another thing I saw this morning was exactly that. Sometimes people leave your life, or are in your life rather, as a distraction. And them leaving your life is a blessing. You may not necessarily want them gone, but because you don't know what actually comes with them, or because you don't know what your path is that you're supposed to do without them, you got to just go ahead and trust that you are better off with whatever the path is that you're on if they're not a part of it, I got to trust that. As it pertains to my friend Kay, as I always talk about how I perceive that and how that soul situation is going, I'm getting a little more used to sending energy toward her without it being received back to me. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And so for me, it's like I just go into prayer rather than trying to send her a bunch of texts and stuff like that. It's just anything that I want to send to her, I send to God and trust that He will send that energy to her by way of someone else, maybe, or whatever the energy is. And just be at peace with that. Be at peace with that. See that the Lord is trying to lead me in a different direction. See the Lord is trying to lead her in a different direction. Or maybe we're just doing the wrong things. But whatever the case may be, God can work with that, especially if you involve Him in. So for me, I'm just asking Him to help me 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, to be at peace with the whole thing. You guys have seen the videos. You know what I've struggled with. You know how my brain is taking it. And I think I'm better right now. I sent her a little motivational this morning, sent her a good night last night, that kind of thing, and was at peace with that, even though she did not respond. You know what I mean? And it's one of those situations where I hope that that's not considered harassment. It could be, depending on how she receives it, but I just understand her a little better now. You can take it as disrespect, and I'm sure a lot of people will if she does that to a lot of people, but the Lord has given me a strength from which to override that and just focus on what it is my responsibility, quote unquote responsibility, is to be a loved one in her life that understands her distance and that trust that she will receive those things well, and that I'm not empty for sending them to someone who won't send that energy back. The enemy, so to speak, wants me to be resentful of that, and because of it, she won't get the love that's here for her. But sometimes we need some people in this world to see past what it is that we're not able to do or not willing to do to give us what the Lord wants us to have. And that's exactly what I felt this morning in regards to the motivation that I sent her this morning. Like, I know, I said a prayer before I even sent it. Like, I know she's not going to respond to this. I know she's not. But I want you to send me energy to give to her, because it's in my heart to tell her to keep going, to get closer to God, to believe in herself, and those different things that I know I probably need to hear myself. And may get from her when I least expect it. Because that's how she is. And so it's sort of one of those situations where it's like, I got to override my own intentions of receiving that energy to be the blessing that the Lord has put in my heart to be for somebody I really genuinely want to see okay and want to see believe in herself. Even if it doesn't necessarily mean it's in my life. When you care about somebody that much, you just want to give them the love that you have for them, and you want the Lord to help you receive the blessings that come from that, regardless if it's coming from them or, as I said in her regard, coming from someone else. So that's what the enemy doesn't want. He wants me to consider myself in all things, and the society we're in tells us to consider ourselves in all things. But if you're strong enough of the mind and you understand the person is struggling with what would otherwise allow them to receive that energy organically in the presence of a selfish world where everybody's looking for something in return for what they give, you know what you have to do is put your ego aside, put your wants aside, and put your faith out front in order to give them what it is that you want them to have. Already know she ain't gonna respond. I also know she's gonna look at it and feel a lot better. And that's all I really want, if I care about her. And then to get my own ego out the way as it pertains to whether or not I see a future with this person in that direction. Our friendship is much deeper than that. Our friendship was never built on that. And so that's why it's like, even if she's not being the greatest friend to me, she's gonna know that she should have been. Or rather, she's gonna grow to be that, and she's gonna remember that I was able to look past that. And I was telling y'all many times, my boy T taught me that. When I wouldn't answer his calls, when I wouldn't, often I would disappear and not talk to him for a long time. He taught me how to deal with her. That's where all this comes from, this example. Because of how weird I was, how awkward I was, how distracted I would be from being a good friend. And he would still be right there when I need him, answer the phone whenever I would come around to it. I'd disappear for a whole year. And he have long-standing appreciation for my friendship, despite me not pouring in as much as I should. And it's like, this is karma for that. But just by way of his example, he showed me how to be a real friend to somebody who didn't reach back. I can now do that because of his example. So that's me paying it forward back to him in a way for being there for me when I wasn't mature enough to be a good friend. When I wasn't, and even now I'm not as close as I probably should be, calling as much as I should. But because I'm going through it, I know that I should. And so maybe Kay can go through the same thing with somebody who may have that issue with her one day. As to what goes around comes around, she'll have to deal with that in her own way. Maybe for her it'll be her son. Maybe for her it'll be her love interest. Maybe for her it'll be somebody else, or whatever the case may be. But the point is, you got to be able to look past what's not coming your way to be the blessing that you need to be in for the person that you truly care about, independent of your own feelings. And to love that much. I'm trying to teach her how to love that much. That's really what it's about. Love somebody more than what comes your way. Love somebody more than what you're supposed to be receiving. Because if you believe in a true living God, then he'll make sure you get what you're supposed to receive. But don't just look at it as a transactional friendship the way the society we're in has taught us to be. Sometimes people aren't strong enough because their character isn't where it needs to be, and they're going to learn hard lessons that they'll bump their head on. And they will remember people who love them enough to look past that before they came around to understanding why they should appreciate it. And maybe that doesn't come my way. That's the risk. Maybe she's ultimately just shows me that she doesn't have that in her at all. But it's not about whether or not I get it back. It's about whether or not I'm strong enough to set the example that I can love her without being loved back, and that should be something that she cherishes, because she ain't gonna find it very often. But that love can't come just in the way that I think it's supposed to be, and me reaching out all the time saying whatever. It also has to come in the way that she would best receive, which is her space, which is what I'm asking the Lord to give me the strength to give her as well, so that she can not only receive what it is I think she should receive, but also what she thinks she should receive as well. And in turn, maybe she can grow to give me the same. But in the meantime, I just want to tell y'all, this ain't for everybody. You got to have a strong level of faith and a desire for strength and a desire to care for somebody more than what's supposed to be coming your way. And that is against what makes sense to a lot of people. And I get that. And I don't want y'all to follow me if you have somebody in your life that leeches off of you and that you're attached to them in such a way that makes it so that you're not getting from them the love that you're supposed to receive. She has given me love already in the way that I can most receive. And what I'm trying to do is help her understand that I saw that. So while she's in this place that is not of peace, while she's in this place where she's distracted, while maybe the enemy has a hold of her or however it goes, I want her to know, just like my boy let me know in his example, that I'll be here for you when you come back around to realizing that you should have been here all along. My name is BDF 44. I thank you for watching, and I'm out.